Chapter 13, Inversions of the dominant seventh chord. Now, just as you can do with triads, you can invert seventh chords. And you do this by placing a chord tone in the bass that's something other than tonic. The third, the fifth, the seventh. Now, the root position versions of the dominant seventh chord in the key of C, along with its three possible inversions, are shown in the example here. And the Roman numeral and figured bass designations are written below each. Notice that the figured bass designations are actually an abbreviated version of the intervals above the bass. So here we are in the key of C, and we'll go to the 5 chord on G and build the 5, 7. And that you can see that the intervals of this chord are a third, a fifth, and a seventh. But when we write the inversion symbol, we just write 5, 7, an abbreviation of all of those intervals. When we go to the first inversion, now I'm going to take this bottom pitch here and put it on the top, like that. That's first inversion. It's got the third in the bass. And look at the intervals. There's the third, there's the fifth, and the sixth. But we only write 6, 5. Again, an abbreviation of that particular chord. And here's the second inversion. We take that lowest note B and put it on the top. And we've got a second inversion with a fifth in the bass. Look at the intervals. The third, the fourth, and the sixth. But we write 5, 4, 3. And that's good enough. And then finally we have the third inversion, where we take the bottom note and put that on the top. The seventh is now in the bass. The intervals are the second, the fourth, and the sixth. But we can just write 5, 2. Now some composers write 5, 4, 2, like J.S. Bach was very fond of writing 5, 4, 2. Either one will work for this particular inversion. So you've got to memorize that set of inversions. It's actually not that hard to do. Root position 5, 7, first inversion 6, 5, second inversion 4, 3, third inversion 2. So a lot of people just remember 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, blast off, or whatever. You know, you're just counting backwards from 7, and you're getting the inversion symbols. So 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Those are the inversion symbols for the different inversions of the seventh chord. Take a look at this chart here. It's just a sort of summary of the fact that if you've got the root in the bass, and these other voices could be anywhere, but when the root's in the bass, then you've got root position. If the third is in the bass, these other upper voices could be anywhere. You still have first inversion. And if the fifth is in the bass, again, regardless of where the upper voices are, you've got second inversion. And if the seventh is in the bass, wherever, maybe here, doesn't matter where the upper voices are, it only matters where the bass voice is for us to call this third inversion, seventh in the bass. Okay, so when resolving inverted dominant seventh chords in 4 voices, this is the good news. There's usually no reason to write any incomplete chords. You can have complete chords on the dominant 7 and on the tonic. You don't need to leave out a note. You don't need to resolve anything freely. You know, you can resolve your leading tone up the way it likes to. You can resolve your 7th of the chord down the way it likes to go and have complete chords. It's just sort of magical. Once you invert the chord, it just works out. Now, it might be necessary in some cases to be careful about the final chord, the tonic chord that you resolve to. There may be something in the voice leading that makes it so that you have to put that tonic chord in an inversion. I'll show you some examples. Let's take a look at this chart. Here's, again, different ways to take this 5-7 chord in 4-part writing. G, B, D, F. Here's the first example. First inversion with the B in the bass. That's the leading tone. There's the 7th of the chord, the F in the alto. Wants to resolve to 1. Complete chords, everything resolving the way that, you know, we expect it to resolve. Look at the B example, G, B, D, F, but it's going to be with the D in the bass. So that's second inversion. Here's the leading tone. And here's the seventh of the chord in the alto. Let's go ahead and let those resolve the way they like to resolve. And we get to a nice one chord. Here's the C example again, but this time I'll resolve it a little bit differently. I'll let it come up to first inversion. Okay, in other words, there may be some different options that you can have. But if you look at example D, you really have to resolve it to a first inversion one chord. So this is the 5/7 chord with the seventh in the bass. So the seventh here in the bass, the leading tone here in the tenor. Watch me resolve. The seventh has to go down stepwise. So in that particular chord, you must resolve to a one chord in first inversion. So just be careful of that. The third inversion, 5/7, has to go to a one chord in first inversion. Okay, go ahead and take a look at Check Your Understanding, 13.1. You can go ahead and try to fill those out. I suggest you pause this video and then come back to this same video, and I'll actually do those examples for you. So here I go. I'm going to do these examples. I'm assuming that you have paused the video and you actually tried to do this on your own. So let's see. We've got in the key of B minor, we've got a 5/7. Make sure you figure out the notes of the 5/7 first. F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, and E. Okay. And since it's 6/5, we're going to put the A sharp in the bass because this is telling me first inversion. So let me go ahead and do that. And because it's a minor key, I actually have to provide the raised leading tone. Now all I have to do is fill in the missing voices. I've got an E. I'll put it there. And I've got an F sharp. Make sure you use good spacing. We can let the seventh of the chord go down. We can let the leading tone go up. And we have a nice resolution to the one chord in B minor, B, D, F sharp. Okay, here's number 2. This one is in second inversion, and that one means that the C sharp is going to be in the bass. So I'll go ahead and, oh, actually, we have a different key. This is the key of B flat. So let's do this in the key of B flat. The 5 chord is F, A, C, E flat. And the 4/3 means that the 5th is going to be in the bass. So we'll go ahead and put that there. And then I need to have an A. I'll put that in the tenor. And I need to have an F. I'll put that here. Of course, the 1 chord is B flat, D, F. I'll let the 7th of the chord resolve downward, which it already is. I'll let the leading tone resolve upward to the B flat. I'll let this go to a B flat as well so that I have a doubled root. And then I can leave this pitch right where it is and get good voice leading there. The last example, this is the key of B major. So my 1 chord is B, D sharp, F sharp, and my 5 chord is F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, E. Of course, that's the same 5/7 as in the parallel minor of B minor. But in this case, of course, I don't have to add any leading tones because I'm in a major key. It's already been raised for us. But it is 5/2, which means third inversion, and that means, of course, the 7th must be in the bass. So I'll put the 7th in the bass first so I don't lose track of it. And then I'll put the A sharp here. And then I'll put the C sharp here so that I've got all the pitches. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the 7th of the chord because I know that's got to go stepwise down. So the 7th of the chord has got to go down. By doing that, that puts me in first inversion for this chord. Has to be. Okay. The leading tone's going up. And this voice here, you know, you can double one of the inner voices. I'll go ahead and double the B. Okay, so there is some resolution of these chords in inversion.